Yes, Papa Dog and I, we're making a video together. Here's my Papa Dog, my beautiful, beautiful hippopotamus baby. And my artwork is my camera stand. And I'm putting this camera in here. Yes, Papa Dog, that is what I'm gonna do. Yes, and then I'm going to make a dog petting and foot massage video for us. For all of us. And I see the camera I had not been charging them. I charged the tablet. So now I don't know how much time I have on it before the battery needs to be recharged. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, I don't know. But it's okay, I will take the camera into my room after that. And maybe I'll be able to continue the video because there's a whole lot to talk about. And I'm gonna put this into my camera stand here. This is my V-leader. I am not paid by those people. They would never sponsor me because I am unpopular. But I love them even if they don't like me. And I love Rudolf Steiner, who founded this amazing company. So I don't know if they like me or not, but no company likes me. So. I'm not sponsored by anyone. It wouldn't, and probably never will, because I am too unpopular. And this is also part of what I want to talk about in this video. Why do we make ourselves so incredibly dependent on society and what anyone thinks of us? Why do we make ourselves so dependent on it? Like a drug, almost. We are dependent on other people's likes and views and opinions and their money, their sponsorship. But it goes much beyond the sponsorship. It goes into romance, it goes into all these fields. And what's the most dangerous is to want to be accepted, to want to be accepted by society. That is the most dangerous thing there is in the world. All kinds of wars and division has arisen out of this type of dynamics, social dynamics. Okay, and I want people to understand this and know this. And so this video here is for Gracie. She is an amazing whisper artist, and I will put a link to her video under my video for other people to subscribe to her. And I don't know if she accepts me or likes me or accepts anything I say, and it doesn't matter what anyone accepts. And that's all part of this video that all part of what I want to talk about. I think this is very, very important. I love Gracie, I love Velida, I love Dr. Hauschka, I love the whole world, whether the world likes me back or not. Okay, so that is my message. And I feel alone sometimes, I feel rejected. All of this is happening. I do cry. I don't run away from that feeling. I don't act it out. I don't prevent this situation from happening. I don't do anything to sabotage myself either. Maybe sometimes a little bit. But in general, I just live as me, Nicola. I am me. And I don't apologize for it. I would never apologize for it. for being politically incorrect or for being outside of the social acceptance norms and so on. Whatever society, that is, whatever social rules they are and whatever field they play into. I am me, and I have my own haircut, and I have my face the way it is, and my body and my clothes and my views and my metaphysical exploration into the infinite cosmos, and that is what I got going, and I don't apologize for it, and I would never apologize for it. And I want you all to do the same thing. I want you to live your lives, not the lives of others or your parents, and I don't want you to accept hook, line, and sinker someone else's emotional pain, whether that is our mothers, and I got a lot of that. I got a lot of my mother's pain traded on me, pawned off on me, okay, early on. And when when you're 12 years old, how can you know all of this? How can you see through all of these things? And how can we question when we are 12 years old? That is just almost no one questions society when they're 12 years old. So, and particularly not when we have a specific brain and specific chemistry, and much of how we are is very determined by our biology and so on. So, and I understand, when I was 12 years old, I could not even relate to people at all the way you do, Gracie. So I admire you, Gracie, for being able to see things so clearly and to understand others and to relate to others and all of this. I couldn't relate at all to anyone, actually. I only related to animals. That's all. Those are the only beings that I could understand, because the animals, they don't act on neurosis, like not in a convoluted way, not in this convoluted way that people do. So the convoluted neurosis of society and my parents and everything made so absolutely no sense to me at all. It was just scary, and yet at the same time I didn't question any of the adults, because the adults were sort of presented to me as the know-it-alls, the ones who got it all under control, the ones who were running my life, the teachers, the family members. I thought they really knew what they were doing. I thought they understood everything. I didn't realize that they understood very little about themselves and how the world works, and about my mental illness, and why was I mentally ill, and why do you have that? And I don't even want to call it mental illness. We call it mental illness. Society calls it mental illness. Who is labeled mentally ill? These are very important questions to ask Gracie and everyone else. Who is labeled mentally ill? The person who obviously is overwhelmed and overflooded by the neurosis of society. The one who is overburdened by society's pain. And I have a cartoon photo for that I came up with many years ago, over 10 years ago, I've always been wanting to paint this, and I'm going to paint this cartoon in my next large wall size painting. That I decided to do this. So even though it is quite painful, but it is a cartoon that needs to be told. And this brings it all to one crisp caricaturistic image. Okay, what I'm trying to say here. And that cartoon goes like this. There's a person, which is me, you know, in a very abstracted type of shape, you know, as I always paint. And there are other people, and they are shouting, and they are neurotic, and they're crazy, and all of this around me. And they are bedazzling me with their neurosis. And they are putting suitcases, they're loading their suitcases onto my shoulders, onto my entire body. Okay, so, and then I stand there in the next cartoon image with all these suitcases loaded up on me from all these people, my mother, my father, my family, society, the teachers, with all of their emotional crap, and loaded it all up on me, the scapegoat, you know, the so-called pleasant scapegoat, the escape mechanism for them to act out, you know, to, hey, we found someone we can blame, you know. So the scapegoat is the one in society who is blamed for other people's issues. So, and it's usually children because they don't defend themselves, you know. But before I come to the conclusion with this image, this message is, I want to put into parentheses, literally, our parents, in parentheses, our parents don't know better. They don't know what they're doing. Okay, it is an unconscious thing that's happening. So that's why we, you know, it doesn't help us if we start lashing out and saying, hey, you did this, which I have done to my parents. And it doesn't work, particularly with my mother. It just draws her more into her pain. She's acting out because of her pain, see. So, and it's all unconscious. So, just that having said, coming back to my cartoon, so finally I stand there with all the suitcases loaded up on me, and the other people come up to me, and now they come with, you know, the speaking bubbles, saying to me, now, Nicola, now you should be able to fly. You should take up like a ballerina, and you should be able to perform through life and fly and dance like a ballerina and be a super performer and be super and great, so that we can be, so that we can pride ourselves with our daughter. So that's what they're saying. So then the next image is the Nicola figure with all the suitcases loaded up on her. She tries to fly, and what happens is, instead of flying, what do you think happens? She falls over like this, flat on her face, and all the suitcases on top of her, falling with her down, with heavy pulling, with heavy gravity pulling down. We have a lot of gravity on this planet. All the suitcases, all the shit from others, everything. Instead of flying, I fall down, face forward into the mud. And that's where I stay. I stay there. And I can't even get up anymore because the suitcases prevent me from getting up again. This is just a characteristic example of how I have struggled and dragged myself through my life. And it was very difficult, very difficult. I'm not going to get into the details now, but I've been through a whole lot of suffering. So if you want to talk to someone who knows a thing or two about suffering, that's gonna be me because I've been through it, and there's other people as well to talk to, like Teal Swan and Adia Shanti and many other people. Eckhart Tolle has been through it. Many other people. So I'm not putting myself on the same level as them. I'm just mentioning randomly the names that I know of. So I know them because they are in the limelight. So, but there are also other people, many other people that are not famous, who also have been on that same journey and who have worked their way through to a certain degree, okay, and that work, that path is never completed, okay. So a psychiatrist might say, oh, you need to heal yourself and then you are completed. That's a myth, okay. That will never happen. We're never going to be completed, but at least we're going to be coming out the other end of the tunnel, and we're going to have a lot more insight into what we've been through and why other people act the way they do. So, and that is extremely liberating, and that's what we're aiming towards. That is also our life's mission. That is the reason why we are here, is to learn. This is a journey that we're on, and that life is there to explore, including our own minds, including the dynamics of society, the dynamics between people, and why the dynamics are like this, what caused it, okay? All of these things. I'm trying to explain this as good as I possibly can. So, and none of us is alone in this soup of struggle and pain and so on. We're all in this together, every one of it. Every one of us is part of this, going through this. Wars happen among people because they're unaware. They don't know where the other person is standing. They know nothing about the other person. And what's most disturbing about wars is that actually fascism and religion causes people to be recruited as soldiers. And they are fighting a war for a corporation, not even for that what they're told they're fighting for. So the corporate agenda on top of everyone, the so-called masterminds of economic, of business skills. They know how they get us. They get people through their religions. So I'm going to take this in the house because the battery is